The personality of the God in the Bible is so perplexing and it does not make sense. Let's talk about some of the characteristics that are obviously straight out of the human psyche. This right here. When it says no other gods before me, did that mean the other gods were real and no one in my church wanted to admit it? No other gods before me clearly is not monotheism. That is the acknowledgement. That is the acceptance that there are other gods that can be worshiped, but I don't want you to put them before me. That is literally what it says. Don't put them above me. Are you telling me that your God is jealous of my imaginary friend? You say that they don't exist, yet you're jealous of them? And you're so jealous to the point that you will commit genocide on people? You want their destruction? Like, talk about narcissistic abuse. Jesus. If you are truly omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent, the hell you getting jealous for? That is truly a human emotion. He shows favoritism. He is vengeful. He is petty. And he even breaks promises. What? That is the behavior of a petulant child, not a supreme being. I certainly can, and I have props. This little stroll down memory lane is thanks to the Jehovah's Witness organization, and we're going to talk about our buddy, Abraham. We're not talking about this story, although it's juicy. We're actually going to talk about his nephew, Lot, and his 2 daughters. So before God goes to destroy the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, he sends out 2 angels to check out the city. And meanwhile, God is also speaking with Abraham, letting him know what is going to transpire. Abraham has a long conversation with God where he asks him, will you save the city if you can find 100 righteous people? Let's go read the scripture and find out exactly what it says, but you'll soon find out that God breaks his promises. Picture this. God and Abraham are standing side by side, looking out at the city of Sodom. God says to Abraham, what is happening in Sodom and Gomorrah is so egregious that I need to take them out of this damn earth. And Abraham's like, whoa, 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 whoa. If you find, hold on. Abraham approached him and said, will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you really sweep away and not spare the place for the sake of the 50 righteous people in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing, to kill the righteous with the wicked, treating the righteous and the wicked alike. Yo, Abraham. I love this because Abraham goes in on God. Far be it from you. Will you not judge all of the earth? Do right? So God's like, if I find 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake. So Abraham goes on. And so they go back and forth like 3 more times. And each time, Abraham keeps whittling down the number. Finally, he gets down to 10. 10! Then he said, may the Lord not be angry, but let me just speak once more. What if only 10 righteous can be found there in the city of Sodom and Gomorrah? God answered, for the sake of 10, I will not destroy it. When the Lord had finished speaking with Abraham, he left and Abraham returned home. This may need to be a 2-parter because I'm running out of time. I apologize. Now we're in the city of Sodom. Lot is talking to the 2 angels. He brings them in his house because he knows that strangers are not welcome in this city. So he takes them into his house. The people in the city, the men, specifically, like if we read the scripture, we don't have time, but specifically the men are the ones who surround the home and demand that these men, they believe to be men, and they're actually angels, to come out so they can have their way with them. They want to abuse them. They want to embarrass them. That is kind of what this city is known for. Running out of time. Part 2 of God breaking his promises. We last left off with Lot taking the angels into his home and the men of the city surrounding. Now let's read the scriptures. In Ezekiel, we learn that the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah is because they're greedy, they're wealthy, they're overfed. They have everything that they could ever want, yet they don't help the needy. Does that remind you of any particular country? Just saying. Not only that, they didn't like foreigners, so they would abuse them. Again, like, does this at all sound like any particular country that you know of? They like to subjugate foreigners, embarrass them, humiliate them, take their rights away by abusing them. Y'all just don't get it. But anyway, so Lot says to the angels, you stay here. He goes outside. The men of the city are surrounding it. They do not like foreigners. They want to abuse the men. Has nothing to do with this sexual act in and of itself. It's the way that they're using that act to remove the angels' rights, right? Okay, so Lot says, don't do this wicked thing. Look, I got 2 daughters who've never slept with a man. Let me bring them out to you and you can do what you like with them, but don't do anything to these men because they've come under the protection of my roof. The dudes are like, no, we don't care what you have to say. They aren't supposed to be here. Bring them out. Finally, the angels use their superpowers, like, they're angels, and they blind the men so that way they can escape. Now, here's where I say that God broke his promise. It was only the men who surrounded Lot's house. No children, and certainly not the women, because there were other women in the city. So there were more than 10 righteous people. Just with Lot and his 4 family members that escaped, there was actually fiancés that didn't make it out. So there were more people in his family that didn't make it out. So there's at least 4 righteous people in that city. And again, the women didn't surround the house. The children didn't surround the house. It was the men only. Yet God still destroyed that city, breaking his promises. And I mean, honestly, it wasn't about the number. The whole purpose of Abraham whittling him down was for God to really like think about it. Like, it's not worth killing all the animals in the city that died, right? All the children, it's not worth it. That's what Abraham was saying to God. You're above all that, God. You're beyond that. And God broke his promise. Burn, baby, burn. It's gonna burn out. And the result of God's actions caused even more egregious behavior because Lot slept with his children.